Oh, all right. So it's 9 o'clock, and I'm going to get started right away because this is a heavy topic. And though my intentions is to um, finish in 30 minutes, this may go over. So today's podcast is going to talk about sobriety. And I've learned that it leads into feeling rejected. And so that's the part that I wanted to talk about and how that discovery even came about to where I was like, holy smokes, very blown away. So just to give you a brief history that I I drank very heavy for 20 years. I was a sailor for 10 and a half years. And so the mentality was like, I'm a sailor. I will outdrink you. And I was very proud of that. All right. So it wasn't until the last 3 years before I stopped drinking, I drank like a bottle of Bacardi a day. In fact, this is the size bottle. This would be the size bottle I would drink every single. I would go to the liquor store to pick one of these up every single day with a liter of Coke. Now, I still have all my liquors here, and I'll explain why. See, I still have a whole bar and a sombrero, and I'll explain why later. And so when I was going through AA, I went through the VA, and it was about, finding sobriety and all this other stuff. And one of the things that they asked me was, like, how long have you been drinking? And I told them, like, honestly, I took a step back from drinking. I haven't really been drinking. And so they asked me, like, so why do you want to be part of this group? I go, because I'm a master at finding loopholes. Like, I am a genius at it. And I'm tired of being a genius of finding my loopholes and finding a way out of it to excuse my behavior. So one of the things that slowed me down from drinking was that when I was started running, I was like, oh, so if I give up drinking, I can run longer. And then so I was like, okay, so if I give up red meat and drinking, I could run longer even more. And so I found a loophole and how I was able to drink and still run. And so I was like, man, I gotta cut this crap out. Like, I need to cut this loophole out. Like, I need to stop doing it. Like, why am I like this? Like, why do I want to find loopholes? So that's the reason why I volunteered to go and put myself through this AA program. And so one of the things that they ask us is this card. Actually, let me go grab it real quick. So it's this card that they had us do, this exercise that they had us do. And because it was, I really wanted to know why. I took all the exercises very seriously. So this exercise is called the Personal Values Card Sort by the University of New Mexico. And so when there was a few of us in there, and when I did this, and I discovered my top 5 to why I wanted to discover why I wanted to become sober. What was my reason why? One of the reasons was to find my purpose. It was to please God for some odd reason. And I shared mine. And so the other people that shared theirs, they didn't have to share if they didn't want to. All of them said family. And I found it interesting that they wanted to please their family. And I was like, oh, okay. But what happens when your family disappoints you, or someone makes you mad, or someone pisses you off? You're going to go right back to your old ways. So there was nothing personal, at least to me, like a personal value. Um, I mean, everyone has their reasons, but it was interesting that they were still looking for acceptance, and I was like, huh, okay, well, that's not mine. Um, and I just left it like that. A year later, I revisit. And so when I was going through prep, each prep that I go to, because I am in bodybuilding, and when prep means is preparing yourself for like the 12 to 8 weeks to get you ready for a competition. And so you're Your lifestyle completely changes, your food changes, everything changes to get ready for a stage. And so when you're in prep, you spend a lot of alone time because there's a lot of food you can eat out, in the restaurants and stuff like that. And so I usually tend to um, isolate myself more. And just so happens this particular isolation, this particular prep, I was really bothered. I was like, oh my God, like I'm bothered right now. Like I need to be busy. I need to do something. I felt like I was like, I need to do something. And then I realized I was like, um, why am I bothered, God? Like, I feel like I need to do something. Like, and he was like, you're gonna sit your butt down. I was like, oh, okay. Like, but I need to stay busy. I need busyness. And I was it was like I was like fiending busyness. And usually like I'm always out. I'm always out the door. I'm always keeping myself busy. And so my first trap to staying home was Daniel. Daniel, my dog. And so anytime I felt like the need to feel busy, I would leave in the middle of the night and just I'm surrounded by a lot of bars in this area. So I have places to go. And so I was like, oh man. So, but my gift from God, aka Daniel, meant that I had to, you know, stay home more because if I were to leave in the middle of the night, and I live in a three flat condo, if I were to leave in the middle of the night, Daniel will let everyone know that I'm gone. So it made me stay home more because can't go nowhere when Daniel lets everyone know that I'm gone. So I was like, oh, okay. So, and then during the daytime, I was like, oh, I gotta go places. I gotta go. I need busy. I need busy. I can't sit still. And though I'm very busy, this particular prep, I felt like I wasn't busy enough and it was bothering me. It's like, all right, all right. Tell me, what's up? What's going on? And this is what I discovered. And because of this discovery, it has led into the the greatest sobriety I've ever lived. The reason why sobriety feels like the reason why we want to stay busy is because we avoid the feeling of rejection. When when you were a heavy drinker and you were the party person, you always got invited out. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Hey, what are you doing after work? Hey, what are you doing this? You were the go-to person. And the more you drink, the more you got invited. And so when you're sober, it becomes quiet. And then it becomes a reminder that like your life has changed. So when sobriety feels like rejection, it's just a reminder, like almost that you're a loser. And then you're like, I'm not a loser. And then you have this conflicting mindset of like, wait a minute, am I a loser? So I've had this conversation with folks like, you're too busy. Like busy is now your new drug. Busy is your cup of Bacardi. Busy is your new drug. And so I said, sit down and have a seat. And they're like, oh no, 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 I gotta keep busy. And that's why they're very overcommitted. And so sometimes they're not reliable because they made too many commitments. And so when I learned that, I was like, oh, I need to slow down. And so I now learn, and as busy as I am, I learned that I need to be busy towards my purpose, not busy because I don't want to feel rejected or feel the feelings of rejection. So I need to make sure that I'm not too busy, that I'm exhausted for what I'm intended to do versus too busy because I don't want to feel rejected. There's a difference. You have to be very careful with busy you pick. Now, if you're just terrible with time management, that's a whole new different subject. But if you maximize your time, you need to really study how you're maximizing your time. I'm currently reading a book called Life Force by Tony Robbins. And he says that he goes, I'm a busy person. And in order for me to fulfill all of my assignments, I need to make sure that I'm doing everything exactly to that I'm able to fulfill this. He goes, my food is good, my rest is good, my peace is good, my company's good. And that's because I have an assignment to fulfill that keeps me busy. And that's why I don't mind being by myself. I'm very careful with what I read, with what I watch, the company I be around with. But if you're just busy, just to stay busy, you're allowing all these things in you. And it's those busyness is just controlling you because you don't want to feel. And you need to be able to feel to be able to identify who's keeping you busy. If God is not keeping you busy, something else is keeping you busy. And if the rejection, the feeling of rejection is keeping you feeling busy, then you're always going to feel rejected. I posted something today that's that if you don't face that feeling of rejection, every circumstance, situation, event, person that does not go your way, that feeling of rejection is going to come back. So I had in February of 2019, I threw a taco party. I used to have a lot of parties in my house, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw a party, and I'm gonna invite everyone back again, and I'm just gonna like feel good about a party because no one wanted to hang out with me. It's not cool to hang out with me, so I was like, I'm gonna invite my new friends, and and I can count on how many one hand how many people showed up. And I was like, wow, I've never felt like such a loser in my life. But if I was healed, I would have been grateful for the 5 people. But because I was still had that door of rejection in my life, I was looking for the crowd. And the crowd would have fulfilled the satisfaction that I was happy again. But because I did not close it, I was extremely disappointed and I had a breakdown, which I wrote in my book. That was a turning point of my life. The amount of people that did not show up was just a reminder to me that I'm a loser and that I got rejected. But that was far from true. It was just because I left that door of rejection open. So now everything looks like rejection to me. It's the same thing about betrayal. If you leave that door of betrayal open, everything looks like betrayal. And now you're just trying to almost compete with people out there because you refuse to face the rejection and the betrayal. And now it's everyone else's fault when really it's your fault because you refuse to face it. And now because you refuse to face it, now we're going back to our old ways of picking up habits that we did to cover up the thing that we refuse to face. And so one of the reasons why I keep a whole bar is because I want to find the triggers. I purposely leave it there because I'm obsessed with finding triggers. Do I like it? No. Oh my God. No. I'm highly offended. However, I love the process. I love finding that every time I'm able to face a trigger, I'm able to say no, I grow more. And I'm obsessed with growth. But if you people are like, oh no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I'm like, why? It's just gonna stay there and grow. Something has to grow. Either your fears, your pity, your sorriness, your disappointments, your discouragement, something is growing. Either that or your growth. Can't feed both. Well, you can, but I mean, you might as well feed one all the way. So the reason why I leave a full bar there is because I want to know what triggers me. So when I was going through therapy, it was so embarrassing to me that I had to admit that I was lonely. Man, I cried so hard. I was like, I feel like such a loser. Again, reminded of the rejection. So when I was faced to feel why I was so busy, like God kept me busy. And I it was very grateful for the busyness. But now it was time to sit down and feel because I was picking up other busyness. Like I was busy. Then I started along the way picking up other busyness. And so I had to sit down and God took away all the busyness and was like, now feel. I was like, oh no, I need that. I need to be busy. No, I need to be busy. And it's funny because as I was beginning to unwrap the truth about why I need to be busy, I was in control to say no to your non-invitations. So, like, just in case someone invited me out, oh, I can't, I'm busy. Sorry, maybe next time. And knowing damn well there's no next time because I'm gonna be even more busier. And so it was, it's funny to me now, but it was shocking to me to see that. I was like I was preparing to say no thank you to an invitation that was never going to come my way anyways. And so you protect yourself, but if you don't face yourself, you're building walls that you're not even realizing that you're building. And next thing you know, you're like, wow, I can't believe I just played this whole thing inside my head. And I felt terrible from and exhausted. And especially if you don't have a good diet, you're just like, man, like I'm always tired. Yeah, because you're running away from feelings. And so um, I was shocked that I did not have nothing to drink this last prep. Usually I have a glass of wine because I have like a very small window until I get back into training again. I didn't even want that. That's very mind blowing to me because I'm very blown away how I don't have no desires for alcohol. A lot of people um pour things out, they don't surround us because they're like, not right now. It's just not time. But I forced myself to be around it because I did not want to continue to isolate myself around events and parties. And first of all, I'm Mexican. And there's alcohol everywhere at my parties. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna have to learn how to be around alcohol eventually, sooner or later, because if I don't, I'm never gonna have Christmas. So I was like, okay, so let me go ahead and teach myself now. So during the pandemic, during um uh during very high stressful times, I taught myself how to understand it. It was hard because I mean, not for nothing, I have full access all the time, and it was hard. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But in the beginning, it will be extremely hard. And so once you're very honest with yourself, your transparency is your medicine. Um, I I've met quite a few people the last couple of days, and everyone always asks me for a diet, a food plan, all the time. My inboxes are filled with, "What's your diet?" I said, "Discipline or face it, face your stuff." And a lot of people just laugh at me, and I'm like, okay, I mean, a diet's not going to work for you because if you don't face the thing that got you there in the first place, you're always going to go back to it. It doesn't matter how how great your meal plan is. Something made you overeat, something made you depressed to eat, something is causing the cause of your weight. Like it's something. And so when you get rid of the weight around you, you're going to start seeing the weight off you. But you have to be willing to face the thing that makes you want to go back to your old ways, your old habits. And so I didn't even realize what I was doing when I purposely did I think about pouring it out? Oh yeah. But then I was like, man, I really need to face it. I need to face it. So because I faced that rejection, when it was time to do so a Christmas party, I think I was the one or someone had asked. No, I know how it came up. So we were at camp and the team was training And I just randomly asked a question. So what are you guys doing for Christmas? And they were like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And no one was excited. I was like, what? You guys not excited about Christmas? Santa? Come on. What's going on? They're like, nah. I said, why, you guys want to do a Christmas party or something? And they're like, yeah. Man, no one knows. But that very moment, my anxiety went through the roof. But they don't know that. They don't know that. They just think I'm like this super cool person that just takes things, like, okay, yeah. No, I was like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to ask out loud. But right away, I was scared. I was like, what if I throw a party and then no one shows up? Then what? Then am I going to take it out of them, or what? I was freaking out. I was like, all right, you know what? Cool. Just calm down. I already face it. I'm cool. Everything's good. Just whatever. Calm down. And it was nice. My house was filled with people again. I was like, wow. Like, so I have fears too. I have, like, worries that things are going to come up, but it's nice to know, like, when you do face it, you will be redeemed because now your intentions has changed. When I threw that taco party, I wanted it to be like, ha, bitch, told you I know people. And like 5 people came. And so apparently I didn't know people. So, but this time when I threw the the Christmas party, it was with pure intentions because they wanted to have a good time. They wanted to use that time for fellowship, and that was the first party. I'm 41 and I'm a sailor and I had crazy parties. That was the first party in probably what 20 years that I there was like there was no like, yeah, I had the bar, but no one touched it. Like, there was no drinking. That was so different for me. I actually forgot that there was no alcohol at that party, except for the bar, until at the end when I wasn't collecting all these bottles around my house. And I was like, wow, did that just happen? That was really mind blowing to me. And so, because I healed, my intentions change. So, a lot of people is when they don't heal and they stop drinking for their families or to prove a point, their intentions never changed. They did it so they can use it sometimes as a weapon towards you. Well, look what I did for you. Well, look at this. Look at everything I'm doing for you. Now it's used as a weapon. But when you do it for yourself or for purpose, your intentions change and everything is becomes redeemed. Your life is redeemed. But when you use it for to become a douchebag, like, you're still going to be destructive. Like, yeah, you may have stopped drinking, but you didn't close the door. So you picked up something else. You picked up a destructive behavior to destroy people. Because the thing that you want to do, which is your bury your hurt, now your hurt is just open and loud and ignorant. And so, and because you refuse to face it, now you're just becoming destructive in your surrounding areas. Now it's everyone's fault for why don't they see the good in you. In reality, you just picked up destructive behavior. You never closed the door. But when you face it and you realize and you take full accountability and responsibility for your behavior and your actions, then then your intentions change. And then when your intentions change, you're connected to source. And source has your back. And so when you do things out of a pure heart and with pure intentions, and good comes out of it. I've seen it. It's scary sometimes, but it does work. It does turn around in your favor. And so when I saw that, I was like, wow, that is so cool. Like, I just had a party in my house and I actually liked it. And it was like way more people than I expected. And so I had to go to the dollar store to pick up Christmas stuff because I never have Christmas stuff here because I never had Christmas parties. So I'm over here like 9 p.m. at the dollar store picking up all this stuff. I was like, oh shit, I'm having a Christmas party at my house. Holy smokes. I better look like I'm having a Christmas party. And so that was cool because it had good, pure intentions. But yeah, you better close that destructive door if you're trying to quit drinking or quit the addiction because like you're doing it for your family or you're doing it for your spouse or you're doing it for your kids. Then all of a sudden when they make you mad, then all of a sudden you just blow up on them because of the after everything I've done for you. That's such bull crap. And it's just there's a lot more growth that needed to overcome that because now it's becoming selfish that you're using it as a weapon. And that's like the douchebag stage. If you really want healing, you'll take full responsibility and accountability for your actions. And you will do whatever it takes that you need to do to be able to close that door so that you may find full healing and so that you can be surrounded by people and find the right people that can love you for who you are and not purposely be full of spikes and knives and everything you do and touch is just destructive. And so that's not the way. There's a much better way, and it's called love, and it's actually a really good thing. But you can't hold on to hurt because when you hold on to hurt, you're eventually going to hurt people. And I learned that. So at least when I was drunk, I just blacked out. And so one of my therapists was like, "You black out because you need to bury something." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I like to have a good time. It just so happens I black out." And she was like, "No." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. You don't understand. I'm a sailor. I know what I'm talking about." I was in such denial. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then. I was so trying to convince her, like, "You don't understand. We do this all the time." She was like, "You are using it to bury things." I go, "But Friday I was good. Like Friday, there was nothing wrong. Like I had a good time." She's like, "It didn't need to happen Friday. It could have happened like last week, and it followed you till Friday, and you buried it." And I was like, "No, the last week was good." She's like, "No, you're missing the point. I know. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm trying to bury." It's like it's been there. So so when people do it to me, I just chuckle because I totally get it. Like when my team does it, I'm just like, mm-hmm. And they're trying to convince me, like, but no, 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 like I had a good day. hmm But because I get it, I did it. And so it's hard to see it. But when they can get a little deeper and more inside of you, we overlook what they're trying to say because we still kind of want to excuse the behavior so that we can at least hold on to a little bit. I know, I did it. And it's funny now, but some things you don't get right away. Some things are going to take time. But I remember therapy didn't almost make sense to me until 6 months after I was done. And I was like, oh, that's what she was trying to say. And then it was too late. I lost access to her. So I've learned to be more open at the moment or learn how to ask the right questions or learn how to ask questions so I don't miss my moment again. Because by time I finally understood it, I lost access to her. And I was like, man, that sucks. I wish I could ask more questions, but I didn't know then how to ask the right questions. And I wish I did. So if I can pass anything on to you, less opinionated and ask more questions. Ask more questions that would help you grow. Even if you don't even know what question to ask. Ask God to say, yo, help me ask the right questions so that I don't miss my opportunity. So I don't miss the access that I have right now. And I promise you, he'll hook you up, man. I promise you. So I hope this helps. I hope that you know that with sobriety, you are going to feel rejected, but it's only for a small bit of time. Don't chase busyness. Just keep chasing sobriety. And I promise you, eventually, you're just going to find this unexplainable peace and not the need to feel busy so that you can be exhausted by the end of the day and not need a drink because you're so tired. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.